being human, to perceiving, feeling, and thinking, to the constant pursuit of happiness, fulfillment, and meaning. Here's to connecting, to learning, to revolutionizing. Here's to experiencing. Throughout our history, we forged ahead through the agricultural, industrial, and informational revolutions. We've perpetually invented, advanced, and evolved. And today, we live in the most advanced society in history, with more opportunity than ever before. But somewhere along the way, we forgot that humanity and technology should coexist, and that at the nexus of the most powerful experiences, humanity and technology collide. That's why we created T-Tech Digital. We bring humanity to business. At T-Tech Digital, we combine the expertise, know-how, innovation, partnerships, and passion of 3 industry-leading CX companies, helping our clients find, win, and keep more customers. Are you ready to deliver exceptional human experiences? Let's create moments that matter together.
I love that video. So good afternoon, everybody. I am exceptionally excited to be here today talking with you. My name is Stephanie Beatty, and I'm here with my favorite partner in crime, Ms. Tara Ramakers. And we are the directors of the Digital University program here at T-Tech Digital. And we're going to talk a bit about the program, but we're going to start by telling you about the market that we work in and about who T-Tech is as a company, and then we'll transition into talking about the program. And let me also start by being really clear. The program I'm talking about is not an internship. It is a fully paid position, and it just starts with 3 months of training on the technology stack that we use as consultants when we work with one of our technology partners. And we partner with brands that you probably know the names of, companies like Microsoft and Amazon, just to name a couple. We do really exciting work. We do full transformation projects. We do deep analytics, automating intelligence, robotic process automation. I can go on and on. It's very cool, very cutting edge stuff. In the video that I just shared, it ended by saying, at T-Tech Digital, we combine the expertise, know-how, innovation, partnerships, and passion of 3 industry-leading CX companies. And I want to start by talking about CX, which stands for customer experience, and the place that customer experience has in the market today. And that's because I want you to understand why T-Tech Digital is such a dynamic and growing business, and why it'd be a really smart career move to join T-Tech Digital. So let me start with customer experience. So T-Tech, our parent company, was founded 40 years ago. So that's 1982. And in that day and age, we didn't have the internet. Social media consisted of letters to the editor of your local newspaper. And companies provided pretty much whatever level of service they wanted, because in some industries, there just wasn't that much competition. You couldn't buy online. You couldn't comparison shop from your living room. And that's no longer our reality. And in fact, that probably hasn't been reality in your lifetime. Customers are at the center, and they demand a different experience now. They get to choose exactly when and how they engage with a company. And that's why companies need a customer experience or a CX strategy. So I want you to think about the last best experience you had with a customer. And this can be any customer. So here's an example scenario. You're out with your friends, you're having a great time, you're having pizza for lunch, you pull out your wallet, you go to pay for the meal, and you realize your Visa card's missing. You start to panic, but a minute later you realize you've already got a text from the bank, and it's telling you there was an unusual charge, and you can respond to either cancel it or to accept the charge, and they'll rerun it. Now, what happens when, and I've recently had this experience with Chase, and many of you may have as well if you use DoorDash, okay? Because DoorDash, not DoorDash, Uber Eats. Uber Eats got hacked, right? So anybody who had their cards associated with Uber Eats, those cards are being extra careful these days. So what's happening is the bank is being proactive. And for me as a consumer, the experience is effortless. This registers in your mind and your memory as your last best experience because it's easy. They've taken care of you. With a click of a button, you can turn off that card, or you can say, yes, that's me, and let's rerun it. Totally fine. Now, next time you interact with another business, maybe it's the airport and you need to change your flight, or a hotel and you need to cancel your reservation. You're going to remember how easy the bank made it for you, and you're going to expect that same level of service from those other industries, because if the bank can do it, there's no reason why the airport can't do that too. So the bar for quality service is constantly being set and then reset by industry leaders in customer service or customer experience, because they know that consumers are comparing every experience to the last best experience they had. And it's clear that the consumer, which is you and me, wants a seamless omnichannel customer experience. So omnichannel in this context means that I didn't have to pick up the phone and call and talk to someone. I can start a conversation via text message or social media, and it can pick up and continue via chat online or phone call or email. It's all going to the same place. It's getting routed automatically. And I'm dealing with the same person, or the person who answers me has the history at their fingertips, and I don't have to repeat myself, right? That's what we mean by omnichannel. So here's another example. Actually, let me back up. So I asked you to think about your last best experience. Maybe think about also your last worst experience. Are the experiences that are positive making you want to be loyal to that company or that brand? And the experiences that are negative, are they maybe making you want to shop around? So an example that I heard from a coworker recently, you come home from a trip, the airline completely destroyed their brand new luggage. And it was expensive, and there were tears and stains, and they were very upset. They posted a message out to Facebook. They were never flying Delta again, totally destroyed their new bag. They also got a call from Delta very shortly after that, or a comment on Facebook back. We're really sorry to hear about the bad experience you had, and let's talk about how we can make it right. They called them, they offered to replace the luggage, and that made my coworker, my friend at work, feel really good about working with Delta. It changed the story from a terrible customer experience to one where they felt valued and important to Delta. And they're able to do this type of thing because of the customer experience transformation projects that TTEC Digital can provide, and the software partners that we work with in order to make that a reality. Today, 65% of customers say poor customer experience is the reason they've stopped doing business with a customer or with a company. And those customers are not announcing that they're leaving. They just disappear. And it can happen at any time, regardless of how superior or inferior the products or services are that that company provides. This is the experience economy. And it's where how you deliver the goods or services, or how a company delivers their goods or services, matters as much, if not more, than what they deliver. It's always the last best experience that they're competing with. even if it's not even in the same industry or vertical space. Customers expect more from your brands that they interact with because they felt what a good experience can really be and the impact a good relationship can have. And they hold that as a standard. So if you're a hospital, you now have to compete with hotels and hospitality. I've seen that in play too. I don't know how many of you have been in the hospital in the last, 5 years, but I promise you the meals that you get now actually taste like real food, and they didn't 20 years ago. That's the kind of changes that are happening because of the pressure that we're putting on, we as consumers are putting on the industries. So let's talk about what CX strategy looks like and how they're able to do that. So very basic CX strategy, right? Very basic. I am a consumer. I want, when I call in or I enter a chat, you know me, you understand who I am, how long I've been there, what my needs are in relationship is with you. I should not have to tell you that you're going to help me either with the change I have or the problem I have, and you're going to do it quickly and make me successful. And third, you value me. You show me that you want my business and you educate me on how we can do more together. So another example, my boss was telling me that he called into T-Mobile the other day, and when the system picked up, instead of the thank you for calling T-Mobile, it answered, "Hi, Jim, we're connecting you directly to your team of experts." The agent connected almost instantly, thanked him for 15 years of loyalty with T-Mobile. And once he told her what he needed from her, she said, "I'll make that change. By the way, how was that trip to London?" Because a month before, he had called to make sure he had coverage in London and make sure his international calling was on. And then as she's wrapping up the change that he asked and the call, she let him know that he had a line that had zero usage on it for several months, and it was costing him $5 a month. So he was able to go ahead and cancel that line that he wasn't using anymore. And again, the reason that they're able to do that is the customer relationship management software, predictive analytics and profiling, and knowledge management tools that TTEC Digital can provide. I will also be clear and say that is not that is not the standard customer experience that most of us get every day. We jokingly call this the wheel of misfortune. You know, traditional approaches to customer experience are just falling short. The old ways that we are used to interacting and customers and businesses are used to interacting with their customers, it's just not there. They're getting really poor customer and employee satisfaction scores. And no matter how much they spend on new technology, it's not giving that payoff in improved customer service and employee satisfaction scores. So the cost of ownership is going up, the scores are going down, and the gulf between the two gets wider and wider. Enterprises have attempted to transform the experience, and they're doing it by purchasing these little niche solutions, and they all come from different service providers and technology vendors, and then they're trying to weave them together. And that just leads to a really disjointed and frustrated experience and higher costs. And then now, on top of that, the challenges are changing. So as the market matures, they're facing a lot of different types of problems. And so they come to us and they're saying they need to either reduce cost or drive efficiency. They need to handle expansion due to competition. They certainly have increased customer demands, or they're worried about transforming to be able to be competitive in a digital environment. I mean, think about COVID. Everybody went to work from home as opposed to sitting in a brick and mortar store. Everybody went to shopping online. Not that we weren't trending in that direction already. It just accelerated that. And so now they've got to meet those demands. Those types of changes put pressure on the business operation, sales models, and customer experience models. And then businesses across industries are beginning to realize that the best way to continue to compete and grow in this environment is to build something that sets them apart with a really high value experience for their customers that they'll want to keep returning to. Think about the Apple Genius Bar as opposed to buying from a big box store like Best Buy. It's a completely different experience. So our experience economy is causing consumers to expect and become accustomed to a very frictionless, hyper-curated experience. And they get that from brand leaders like Amazon or Netflix. And we as consumers are comparing all of our interactions to that great experience from these industry leaders and holding everyone else accountable to that same standard. We've got to ensure that if companies want to grow, they've got to ensure that they're giving that holistic experience in the same level of customer centricity and convenience and personalization. And that's where we come in, and that's how we help. So this is our model, our maturity index measurement. And on one side of it, on the left, we've got very immature companies, right? These are younger companies. They haven't been around very long. They know that the experience of the customer is important, but they don't have a strategy. They typically don't know where to start. They know they're behind, or they know they need to come up with a strategy. And a lot of the frontline employees are feeling the pressure and pain of it, oftentimes even more than the leadership team is. The expense to service those customers keeps going up, but the results don't change. And they have scattered data, no customer intelligence, and they operate it as a legacy call center model. On the far right side, we've got very mature companies that have embedded the customer experience as a way of life. It's part of the culture of the company. It's a top-down initiative from the leadership team. Everybody from the top to the bottom knows the strategy and their differentiators. Again, think about Apple's Genius Bar as a good example. These companies have mastered customer intelligence. They use both internal and external sources of data. They've got a very modern contact center that allows for that omni-channel experience where customers can engage them through social media accounts, websites, chat, SMS, and more. And employee compensation is aligned to their net promoter score or their meeting their customer experience goals. In the middle is the sweet spot where we typically are encountering our customers. That doesn't mean we don't have customers at TTEC Digital on either end, but the bulk hit in the middle here. They're either in the ad hoc or reliable section. They typically have started a strategy, but either they didn't fully get it executed or it got outdated over time. They know that there's more work to do, and they know that they're struggling to get it done. 80% of clients are in this, for us, are in this maturity gate. What is important is for TTEC Digital to engage where those customers are and what the gaps are, and how our technologies and services and innovations can help them fill them quickly so they can get from one gate to the next, and they can move to the embedded part of the matrix here. And here's a little factoid. It was predicted that the amount of or volume of customer interaction across industries would increase 350% this year. And that's why increased efficiencies are so important to our customers. It's an explosion of digital transformation across data, AI, bots, agent assistants. It's just amazing the amount of work there is to be done and the amount of opportunity that we have in these spaces. These interactions need to be seamless between each other, and they need to be in that omni-channel environment. That doesn't mean that people aren't still picking up the phone and calling our contact centers. Typically, it's more of an escalated scenario. And so we want to make it so that when you have a 3-minute phone call with someone, it's because it's critical and they have a perfect experience. All right. So how are we doing it? To accomplish our mission, we're bringing together deep expertise across 4 or 5 different business units. And that is a holistic delivery of strategy and technology to transform the experiences that our clients and their customers have. We're helping to mature their CX strategy towards leadership and differentiation, as we talked about in that maturity model earlier. Our approach brings together experience design and orchestration to establish clear understandings of customer expectations, aligned to a blueprint or a roadmap to help them achieve success, further applying all of the necessary platforms and innovations that we're able to execute on that vision. This approach is taken through every project that we lead, whether we're focused on a discrete area of the customer journey or the holistic transformation project. We're able to bring that customer into the conversation so that our outcomes directly tie to those experience improvements that they're desperate for. Our Experience 360 model represents all of our business units coming together to achieve outcomes that are meaningful and they impact the moments of truth across the customer journey. It starts with a vision and research where our consultants help to understand the existing customer landscape and establish the future state experience that the customers want. Our experience strategy team will run analytic and survey programs, build journey maps, identify key customer personas, and much, much more to architect comprehensive awareness of your customers and create strategic roadmaps that are built on fact and data. When we help companies capture, manage, and analyze all the key data of customers in meaningful ways, it drives insights and automation. Our digital experience group belongs to digital transformation in a way that brings to life key skill sets across data, artificial intelligence, customer relationship management, robotic process automation, and other key business applications that are critical to building the holistic customer profile, creating that golden record, and automating processes that need to engage the right place at the right time with the right message. Our interaction experience group focuses on all the engagement points along the entire customer journey and really has a rich knowledge of building omni-channel execution in the contact center space. We leverage voice and digital channels. Our experts are helping clients modernize on the cloud and build out the future hub for intelligent and predictive engagements in an omni-channel experience. So what do I mean by predictive engagement? Here's an example with a customer of ours that's in the automotive industry. They had an old model where they would cold call clients when they thought they would hit mileage markers, which they were just timing based off of averages, right? And they would cold call them and remind them that they needed to bring their car in for service. They needed to expand that without expanding the number of agents that were dialing. So that meant that the agents had to be more efficient. So instead of just looking at records of every car sold and doing the math of X number of days from when they sold the car to figure out the mileage, they started doing predictive analytics on who are the customers that are most likely to answer the phone? What time of day are they most likely to be available to answer the phone? Are they the types of customers that also typically take their car into the dealership to have it serviced? Then they could narrow down the list of millions of customers to something that the team that they had could realistically do and be super efficient with. So that's what we mean by predictive. And because of that, they're able to see really high return on the investment of the time that the agents spend making those phone calls. And it gets to helps us to create those really wow moments, right? So each of the outcomes that we're creating are fueling what is individually important to each of these consumers when realizing it in an end-to-end customer experience strategy. And when you bring all of that together within one organization and you weave in our approach of customer experience design and customer experience orchestration, our clients are able to achieve a really differentiated level of experience and transformation and deliver that ubiquitous experience to everyone. And that's powerful. And that's what Experience 360 is all about. So, seems complex, is kind of complex, but that's what TTEC Digital specializes in. That's what we do. And we bring together really, really smart people to make it happen. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Tara to give an overview about TTEC Digital.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you all. Alexander, I did see your questions. We will get to those for sure. Although they're very deep questions, but we'll try to do our best to answer them for you. So a little bit more about me. I actually have been in the HR and talent acquisition space for over 15 years. And believe it or not, over half of that I've got to spend with Stephanie in my career. So it's very exciting to me. I had that realization while we were on this call. So there is a lot of information ahead. So please make sure to put in any questions and we can answer them after I get done covering some of this. Considering the time, I probably will fly over some of these slides just to make sure that I can cover the real nitty-gritty stuff that we want to cover. So at TTEC Digital, we're creating a category of one, and we're doing this through understanding our clients. We want to be able to strategically set a vision for customer experience. That's the CX you see everywhere, as Stephanie mentioned. We have an analytics team that has been mentioned. That analytics and insights team really helps blend the right mix of human and AI data insights. We partner with world-class technology companies, allowing us to build fast in the cloud in the latest, greatest tech platforms for our clients. And we can fill in gaps in experience design in order to achieve a tailored CX solution for our clients. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see what we call our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal, which is we will be excuse me, we will be the world leader in customer experience transformation by performing 10,000 digital transformations by 2025. And I did want to call out on that screen, if you see IP, it's intellectual property. So just in case anyone hasn't heard that term before, basically the type of things that we would create specifically for a client that we own that property. So all right, so TTEC Digital has really grown through a series of acquisitions through the years. Actually, the first acquisition that I am aware of is eLoyalty, and that brand changed to TTEC Digital. So that's when we ever talk about our legacy TTEC Digital, it's really that company that came into the TTEC Digital brand. And then subsequent acquisitions of Avtex, which does a lot of Cisco, Genesys, Pega, and a really large Microsoft practice. And then Voice Foundry, who's an Amazon Web Services company, bolstered our technology partnerships. So we have over 1,800 global employees. We work with 6 strategic partners. Actually, I think Pega is still considered strategic, but Cisco, Genesys, Microsoft, Amazon, recently Google and Salesforce. So it's an exciting time for us. We are growing very, very quickly, and a fun time to be a part of our organization. Next screen. So if you think about TTEC all up, TTEC at its core is a BPO. It's a business process or outsourcing company that essentially is able to take over contact centers, bring that humanity to the business, and we can infuse technology into the best customer experience. And so with that one TTEC mentality, we are able to be that single source for technology-enabled end-to-end customer experience transformation. And then, as we mentioned, the three of our very strong partnerships with all of our big companies, Microsoft, Genesys, Cisco, Google, Amazon Web Services, we all came together and we're able to combine the expertise to really bring that customer experience to the forefront for our customers. So this is the fun part for me. I think it's really cool when we have, basically when you feel like you're a part of a small organization, you feel connected, you feel tied in with people, you can create some strong relationships within your organization, but also have the powerhouse behind you, really, of a company that has been around for 40 years, that knows what they're talking about, that's an industry expert, and is able to deliver in a quality manner, but really bringing the best of both worlds to our customers and our employees by giving both worlds to our customers and employees. So we are all over the place, lots of countries. It's a great representation, a very diverse group here. So through the years, there's been a massive shift from brick and mortar, B&M, to the cloud. Like I imagine most people on this call likely order from a website versus going to the mall or a store. At least I can speak for myself and say that it's way easier for me. So we really needed a new approach. And really with that focus on total experience, so both customers and employees, really improves the entirety of the entire experience. So technology really empowers people to better collaborate. Tools like Zoom, tools like Teams, allows us to come together and collaborate. It just makes everyone happier and makes it easier for us to be efficient and effective in our roles. So this is a fun fact about the partner ecosystem, and something that it's probably not very well known to the broader group outside of like the technology partner ecosystem, is that more often than not, a company actually has partners to implement their products. So if company A buys Microsoft Dynamics CRM or customer engagement from Microsoft, Microsoft will go to a partner or go to a group of partners to basically say, hey, we have this customer, do you want to do the implementation? And the partners will bid to essentially win that business. That's one way that companies like TTEC will get clients. So then we've got like a whole sales and marketing team really dedicated to fostering the relationships with a lot of these partners to make sure that we're on their, the top of mind when a client comes in that maybe we weren't aware of, that is looking to buy the technology that we have experts to implement. So I don't know if that's a known fact in this group, but just kind of a fun fact there. And then that kind of ties it all together. So our goal is really to unify technology and talent to deliver customer experience as a service. And, it's through teams all over the globe. We've got brilliant minds that, can really lend expertise in all of our technology platforms. We're very agile in the face of the new workforce and technology dynamics. We love to bring personalized experiences, and that comes through understanding people's intentions. And then we have a strong consultative approach. So I love the master orchestrators, but we really can look at the bigger picture and say, actually, from our areas of expertise, So, and then we are continuously improving on investment with focus on outcomes. And any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. I'm going to kind of fly through our practice overviews just to give us enough time to cover the program, which is really the bulk of what we're here for. So we've mentioned a bit about our analytics and insights team. This is probably, Alexander, exactly where you're going. This is a lot of that data, understanding what makes people do something or drives them to a website. And then once they're there, how to leverage that engaged data to make sure that we can help our clients, potentially score that sale or, whatever it is that they need to use that data for. It's what I like to say, the cool, really cool stuff, and the stuff that sometimes you're like on a game and you're like, why are you following me around? So when that ad pops up and says, hey, why don't you buy this? We're on sale. So good for companies and bad for my wallet sometimes. And we'll jump to experience innovation. So experience innovation looks at the best ways to give the customer the most positive experience. So this could be integrating contact center software as a service into CRM systems to make a contact center agent more efficient. So when you call into T-Mobile and they know who you are, they have the knowledge of the prior conversations because they're taking notes in that CRM system. It just gives everyone a much better experience. They do workforce management adapters. They're kind of making sure that the experience for the client and their customers is the best. An experience strategy is a global team of a whole lot of skill sets, and they are focused on fueling exceptional customer and employee experiences that really add that real business value. So their goal is really to bring a lot of transformation that will deliver real business value. Interaction experience. The way that I've always heard this is every customer touch point comes with an opportunity to make or break your brand's perception. And this team focuses on helping you deliver frictionless, consistent engagements across the entire customer journey, whether your customers are interacting with a bot, agent, or digital channel. They're poised to help you modernize on the cloud and build your hub for intelligent and predictive engagements in the omni-channel experience. So again, that omni-channel experience, being able to, text you and call you, or, whatever platform you're using to look at this website or, interact with this agent. They're giving you all of that engagement. And our Genesis practice, so this is actually part of our Avtex brand. We have a very large Genesis practice. I just heard something the other day that they've got like a very large presence in Costa Rica, and I wish I could remember the exact number, but they have a lot of people spread around the globe. They have a ton of certifications on the Genesis Engage platform, and right now they're doing a lot of work to help bring people to the cloud from an on-premises environment. And the Cisco practice, same concept. So you'll probably, best way to explain this, and Stephanie, you're probably more poised to do it. Most companies, when you start years and years ago, when you start with a platform, it's an out-of-the-box type of solution, and you aren't in the cloud at all. And everyone is going to the cloud. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows that. But there are still people who are existing in this outdated world, and everyone has to migrate. So we have a big focus on, with Cisco and Genesis, getting a lot of those clients to the cloud. And then the Amazon practice that came in through Voice Foundry, very large Amazon Connect focus. So it's it's right there on the screen. Inaugural Amazon Web Service Amazon Connect Partner of the Year in the UK, which was really, really huge. It's an exciting practice, and it's just continuing to grow. Amazon has a unique, it's just all code. It's not like structured.
It's almost true research and development or pure app dev. It's a really exciting business model, and it's an exciting and growing part of the practice.
Mm-hmm. And Google, as I mentioned earlier, is a bit new. So Google has a a new contact center. I don't know how new it's upgraded, I guess, but they have chosen us to partner with them and get this kind of like rolled out. So we say it's in incubation, but this is something that we see very, it's small now. I anticipate this growing really, really quickly, considering how many people use Google and how many people are starting to interact. I mean, there are times, and this is really even maybe pathetic to admit, but there are times when I'm more comfortable in a Google Doc than I am in a Microsoft Doc because I use them so often now. So I think as technology shifts, it's good that we're getting at the forefront of some of these emerging businesses.
Yeah, it's definitely a market disruptor. That's the word.
Yes.
So we're excited to see the changes that it does as it shakes up the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So our digital experience team, we want to make sure that we're engaging customers at the right time on the right channel with the right message so that we can deliver the most exceptional experience. And that's what this team focuses on. So it's a digital first seamless experience. We do that through data, AI, CRM, intelligent automation, and a variety of business applications that are key to really building those holistic customer profiles and delivering the very personalized experiences. And this is the world that Stephanie and I have lived in for a long time. So our Microsoft practice, we are on the inner circle with Microsoft. We've been Partner of the Year. This is the space where we'll probably be running our next digital university program, one of the two spaces that we have planned for next year. And so this is really looking at Microsoft Dynamics and then all of the technologies that kind of fold into that, as well as Power Platform, which is more technology agnostic, but of course feeds very well into the Microsoft ecosystem. So it's a burgeoning team, that Microsoft team. And Salesforce is actually growing quite a bit too. So Salesforce is one of our emerging markets, and we have about 30 resources now. We're hiring there currently, and we're actually building a Latin America practice for both Microsoft and Salesforce currently as well, which has been a fun expansion for us. And Pega. So Pega's been around since 2013 and is very, very strong in certifications, which is great for all of, I actually should have mentioned that with some of our other practices as well. We really appreciate the certifications. It's a great thing that's out there for people to do anyhow, and it adds depth to your areas of expertise. Then the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. Back to you,
right.
Sarah.
So I'll wrap it up by talking about the Digital University program in specific. So Digital University is our training program, and it can be for any of those brands that we just mentioned. What the concept is that we're investing in people who are just like you. They're coming out of university, or they have got less than a year or two of experience out in the market, and we'll spend 3 months training you on the technology stack, where you will eventually become a consultant, consulting skills, business skills. And the reason we're making that investment is because we think that by providing that investment in a person, we are going to wind up with some of the top players and will have loyalty with us because we train them, right? That's the idea. And the format of it is a mixture of a little bit of self-paced, a lot of instructor-led and team-based exercises. It's very hands-on, labs, quizzes, challenges, hackathons, team meetings every couple of weeks. The instruction is based off of real live client scenarios that we see every day in the market. And you get to see everything in action. So there's demos, there's shadow projects. It's fun, it's competitive, it's collaborative, and frankly, it's difficult. This is not, being a consultant is not an easy job. It gets progressively harder throughout the 3-month program. So at the beginning, it's very step-by-step and very tactical, but then it becomes much more abstract as you learn more. And we make it competitive so that's because that's fun. But the top rated learners get to pick their shadow project assignments. And the structure is, again, tactical, how to click the buttons, problem solving with technology, which is a little bit of consulting 101 and a little bit of just how do you solve this problem from the client using the tool set you've been given. We do focus on our methodology. We mix in the business skills, and then we have you put it all together in mock projects, which are, again, based on real life client scenarios. Then we go into shadow assignments where you're non-billable on a project, but you're watching consultants do the job live for a real customer. We do teach backs, we do show and tells, and it helps you build professional skills. And we focus on professional introductions, team meetings, meeting management, communications, that type of thing. Then technology. Here we are talking about Microsoft because that's going to be our next program. Dynamics 365 is the product. Some of the different flavors or apps that you can get or modules are the sales app, the omni-channel customer service experience, marketing, and then Power Platform, which is a way to do low-code rapid development of apps and connect it to any number of applications. There are thousands of connectors, and move the data back and forth in a really easy way, an affordable way. We talk about delivery methodology, which could be waterfall, could be hybrid. We're using Azure DevOps as a way of life at TTech Digital, and practical applications, which are obviously your hands-on labs, your mock projects, and your shadow work. And we do it over a 12-week period. We're meeting every day, and it's a combination of that instructor-led e-learning and hands-on. So let's talk about what we expect from our people in the classroom, because these are digital classes, meaning online, live, through Teams instead of Zoom, but very similar to this. We expect people to show up with their cameras on and minimize distractions so that they can focus. And we expect people to be their authentic professional self. One of the key core values at TTech Digital is we're all human. And I can't tell you how relieving that is to work in an environment that understands that people have real lives. It is amazing and wonderful. The other thing is we expect people to engage. We want them to take notes. We want them to ask questions. We want them to do the homework, do some research. We want you to interact with us. If you don't understand something, ask. That's why we're providing live instructors. If we didn't expect you to interact with the instructors, you'd just be watching videos, right? So we know that these are new skills that people are learning and that everybody comes to that from a different place. So we expect people to talk to us and tell us where they're at. And then we want people to be open to demonstrating what they did in the lab or helping somebody who's not as far along as they are. So expect to be coached, expect to provide coaching to someone else. And if you don't volunteer, we might volunteer you to do it. And then this next slide is just a sample of what our 12 weeks might look like. Obviously, your week 1 is going to be onboarding, some self-paced learning just to get the fundamentals down so that you can easily understand what the instructors are talking about. It gives you context. From there, we're going into a lot of instructor-led sessions, interspersed with a few self-paced to kind of break it up and make it more interesting. We'll be doing group work, individual work, and challenges. So week over week, we've got, well, in some cases, day over day, we've got different topics that build up to doing something hands-on. And there is some hands-on every day. The last 3 to 4 weeks are usually shadowing. And then you wrap up your shadow projects with a presentation on what you saw, what you learned, and what you built. And in between those two things, you've got lots of mock project work to practice those skills, become confident in what you're doing. Tara mentioned certification being something that we value. We absolutely invest in our people and pay for their certifications. And we expect people coming out of this university program to get 2 certifications to get their first certification in their first year, their second certification in their second year, while maintaining the first one, so that they come out of it with 2 full certifications at the end of year 2. Because most of these certifications have to be renewed. You need continuing education credits, and then you need to go take a update exam. All of these products, tools, brands, however you want to say it, change rapidly. Could be quarterly, could be monthly, and some days it feels like it's daily. You have to stay on top of the technology in order to be considered the expert in order to educate our customers, right? So you do have to keep up with those certifications year over year. And that's one of the things that we help prepare you to do. So the great thing about having those certifications is they're yours. They're not tied to T-Tech Digital. So if sadly years from now you decide to move on, you've earned those certifications and they move with you. So it's investing in you as much as it's investing in us. And that's something that you get to keep for the rest of your career, no matter where you are. And the last thing that we really expect is that you go from being mentored into mentoring others. So our last cohort will be there to answer questions about how it went with the next cohort that comes along, so that they know, because they've been down the road before, and they add that support. And that's cycle is what we're trying to foster and grow. And that's it. So we'll kick it off and do questions.
So we have a load of questions in here. I'm going to try to cover off the few that are around the program itself.
Okay.
We do not require a degree, a higher education degree for this program. The majority of people who come in do have an associate's or above, but it is not a requirement for this position. We can look at years of experience someone has just as easily as we can, or the skill sets people bring to the table just as we can a degree. So we want to make sure that this is a very inclusive program. So let's see, there is no cost to get into this program, and we work remotely. So when we do these programs, we do them geography specific. So we ran one in the United States, specifically in the spring, summer timeframe. It started in May. And then our next one is actually in the UK, and that starts in January. And then when we are looking right now at budgeting for the next year, we're planning next summer as our next US-based program. And like we said, that will likely be in the Microsoft Dynamics arena. That is subject to change based on the business needs at the time, but that is what we're planning as of right now. And then we'll also do a group in the analytics and insights team. So if you come from that data background, that would be something that you would be interested in potentially. So that covers off the starting dates. Full stack web developer bootcamp. We do hire entry-level developers. It depends on the position and the technology stack when we hire those entry-level programs, if they need to go through a digital university type of program, or if we just are hiring flat out. So I would encourage you to look at ttechdigital.com, and there is a career section that you could take a look and see if there's any potential opportunities that are open right now. Now, some of the deeper stuff, okay, I'm sorry, here's the ideal candidate brings to this position. In an ideal candidate will have a general level of business acumen, meaning you know how to use, your basic Office suite, and you understand how to craft a general email to someone in a corporate environment, right? A lot of the soft skills we can train, but there's a certain level of understanding in that business world that we've seen people be more successful if they have at least some of that foundation. So internships or, working while you're at school tends to help a lot. We also hire a lot of people into this program who are switching careers. So they could be completely, project management for an infrastructure, building Target stores around the globe, and they're looking to get into more true technology. We've seen people do that. We've seen product manager, it's all over the place. So entry level or career shift, we're kind of open to all of it. Alexander, I will try to cover off your very, very deep question. Does your company's CX technology work with the smaller scale companies or local companies, or mainly with tech giants? We work with companies of all sizes. So what we're doing when it comes to the customer experience, and then back to your original question about the concern for companies knowing too much personal information about customers' clients. So we're not collecting the data ourselves. We're collecting data from our customers who the customer has opted in, if that makes sense. When you go onto the internet, whether you like it or not, on you're on Google, you're opting into the information you're putting out in the world. Now it's not just the UK, in Europe, they implemented an entire data protection plan. We do not have that intensive of a data protection plan in the United States. It's just really what it is. So you're opting in. So if you like the T-Mobile example, you're a customer. So they, at some point in time, you've signed some sort of legal document saying that they can collect your data to help make your experience better. And that's why they can put your notes into their CRM. You've opted into it, you've approved all that. So I know some of that stuff is scary. I get it. When I play Candy Crush and that one freaking ad keeps coming up, I'm like, darn it, I shouldn't have looked up that pair of socks. Now I'm getting chased down. But that is where that is.
I can add to that. In a lot of our predictive scoring models, we're using anonymized data. We're storing it in such a way that it's not got any personally identifying information. So there's a lot of different tools and techniques. And obviously privacy is important. And in some industries like banking and medical or in government, privacy is of the utmost importance, and security is also as well. So yes, we are keeping those things in top of mind, and we are aware of the industry best practices, and we are implementing them and using them. And to further down your list of questions, Alexander, the question about the UI and UX side, absolutely. We do work on that within the contact center experience or the customer experience. That is something that we care about, as do the clients. And so it's not just the customer experience. Where we see it more for on our side would be the UI UX for the employee who is engaged. So more on the internal side than the external side. But yes, UI and UX is something that we do have a focus on.
Stephanie, are there others that,
how would someone with a computer science and software development background find purpose at TTEC? That is absolutely a profile that we love to hire. There are a myriad of roles that are looking for someone with a computer science background or a software development background or a statistics and higher maths background. Those are absolutely places where we are looking for people. They would be involved in a lot of the predictive analytics, some of the robotic process automation, maybe some of the AI, could be writing custom code, custom connectors. While lots of the tools that we talked about exist, They are very customizable, or configurable, I should say. They are also customizable. We'll extend them beyond with custom code. And that's where we're looking for developers in some cases. So we need business analysts, we need developers, we need people to go out and just install and customize the system, which you do through an interface. We need people to extend it. That's where the development comes in. We need project managers. We need all types. So I hope that answers that question. Someone else said, are there projects available to be staffed on? How long does it generally take after graduating to be staffed on a project? Some of our university grads were staffed on a project immediately. That what they were shadowed on became the project that they were staffed on. Some of them, it took a couple of weeks. And what we did instead was have them either focus on an internal project, which was not customer facing, because we are also our best customers, right? There's always work we need done. Or we had them work on preparing for their first exam and going ahead and getting that knocked out before they got super busy. So it can vary. Also, I will say not always are you staffed on only one project. As a consultant, you sometimes will be juggling customers because you're finishing up development on this one, then there's going to be a pause while we go through a round of testing or deployment before the next project kicks off. So you'll be staffed on another one to jump in and fill in, and then you'll be back to the same one. So you may be working 20 hours on one project, 20 hours on another project. That is the life of a consultant, and that is totally normal. So you will have highs and lows. You will have sometimes work will be coming out your ears. There'll be so much you have to do. And sometimes it'll be kind of kick back and you know, study on your own, work on your next exam, maybe learn a new skill. You've got periods of busy and not busy. And that's just the life of a consultant. Examples of shadow projects someone asked for. And how is feedback given and performance measured? So let me answer both of those real quick. Examples of shadow projects, we had people on a large retail chain doing taking part in Scrum sessions and building out some sessions, building out some things in the product. We had some people doing QA work for a government project. We had a marketing project for a hotel chain. So, and what that looks like is literally you're on the project with your mentor, and you shadow your mentor in whatever role they are in throughout the time that they're there. So you just follow them from meeting to meeting, and you have discussions of what you heard in that meeting, what it meant, ask questions. They may give you small amounts of work to do. As for how is feedback given and how is performance measured, there's essentially 3 parts to the program. The first part is very classroom based with labs and quizzes. There are quizzes after every topic. So every day to 2 days, you're taking a multiple choice quiz on what we discussed the day before. So there is that portion of it. The next portion of it is testing your skills in a more abstract way, where we give you a scenario and you build something based on that scenario. And that's ABCD type of grading done by the instructor. There is a final project where there is a panel where you present in teams, and the whole team gets the same grade. You present to the panel, and they provide, ask questions and provide feedback. And so that's another way that is feedback is given and graded. And then finally, you have your shadow portion, and that feedback is one-on-one with your mentor. Are the majority of certifications consultants receive from a client certificate program, i.e. the 2 Microsoft certifications? So the majority of the certifications are through our technology providers. However, if you are someone who is maybe interested in a project management path, that would be through an independent group like a Scrum Master certification if you needed that, or a Project Management Institute, PMI, that's what it is. Sorry, I'm looking at a book on my bookshelf because I couldn't remember the name of the group. A PMI certification, although that is usually comes with requiring a year or more of experience before you can get that one. Our partners like Microsoft, Cisco, Pega, et cetera, have certifications that we do expect people to get, and that would be coming through them directly. What are the usual or daily tasks of a consultant, and where can marketing majors fall under this program? Great questions. Mm-hmm. So Microsoft in specific has a marketing module or a marketing app, and it is one of our growth areas. It's a very dynamic, cool, newer portion of the Microsoft business. And having people who understand the marketing business is a boon to that. So in that app, you're doing things like building out customer journeys and personas and coming up with the analytics for making sure that people go into the right customer journey. This might also involve things like scoring the leads that come in. And how do you interrupt a journey or put somebody into it, insert a customer into a journey in a certain place, those types of things. The usual tasks or daily activities of a consultant. Since what we're talking about is technology consulting for the most part, we do have a branch that is more contact center operations consulting, but for the most of our teams are around technology, and Digital University is focusing on technology enablement. It all follows the software development lifecycle. So the software development and project and program lifecycle is sales, analysis, and discovery, analysis, develop, design. Wait, hang on, give me a minute. I'll get it in the right order. Sales, discovery, design. Oh no, analysis, then design, then build, then test, then implement, then lifecycle. There we go. So your daily life is going to fall into a pattern based off of which phase of that cycle you're in. So during discovery, you are doing side-by-sides and watching people work, interviewing different teams of the client to find out what the day in a life looks like for that person and what their needs are and what gaps they have in their current processes and systems. Then you analyze that data, create a proposal for that data, build maybe a proof of concept to show them multiple options they have to determine which one is the best fit. Then you're doing a design and estimate. You are getting agreement on the design and price. You are then building it out, testing, going into production. And that's in a very waterfall way. I just described it. You might be doing that in an agile fashion and doing it more iteratively. It just depends on the client because we follow our client's lead in that. In the 12 weeks program, do we interview for the role? So you would actually interview before you started the 12-week program, and we would have any candidates that we offer, we are fully committed to. And then we do the 12-week program of training, and we may recommend different types of projects that someone might go on or different roles that they might play on the project. But if you're hired for the program, you are hired to become a consultant, full stop. I am really excited by the number of questions that we have gotten, and I'm sorry that we haven't finished answering them, but Tara and I will be happy to take a look at any questions that we didn't get answered and make sure that we can get back to you with our answers.
Thank you everyone for attending today.